So coming to a seat. Sukhasana, you can cross at the shins if that feels okay in your body. You might sit on a block, a bolster, blankets, pillows, whatever's available. Place your hands on your thighs, palms facing down. Just in a symbolic sense of grounding. The eyes can gently close or take a soft gaze. Choose one point of focus. You can shift the weight from side to side across the sit bones, front to back, working to find the center. So you're nice and upright on those sit bones. With a gentle pull of belly to spine, tailbone to the earth. Soften the muscles between the brow. And begin to notice the breath. Feel the whisper of the breath across the nostrils, behind the throat, past the heart into the lungs. And follow that path in the opposite way out. You might begin to exaggerate the movement in the belly, letting it expand. So we begin to tap into more diaphragmatic breathing or exaggerated diaphragmatic breathing. Our diaphragm is used in all kinds of breathing. There's no getting around that. And then as you pay more attention to the breath, you might be able to more easily notice the mind. Is it busy? Is it calm? Neither one of those is right or wrong, better or worse. It's just something different to work with each day. So you've arrived here on your mats for one reason or another. Just take a moment to acknowledge whatever that reason is that you're here. Why did you show up? How did you show up? And how can you continue to show up through the practice, through this next hour? Connecting back to that reason, that deep why. Gently blink the eyes open. Notice the room around you. Notice your body. Notice me, notice you. Hi there. Let's come onto our backs. Slowly lower down so you really engage the core as you lower. And hug both knees in. Massage the low back on the earth. You can roll the knees in a circle, both directions. Keep the right knee hugged in, extend the left leg long, open the right hip to the side. Breathe here. And then bring the knee through center, take it over towards the left. You can support with the left hand as you roll onto the left hip. And try and keep the chest open towards the sky. It's better to pay attention to the right shoulder staying on the earth than it is trying to get the right knee to the earth. So if the knee is hovering, that's perfectly fine. Mine certainly is. But we want this twist in the torso to really start there and not in our low back. And come back through center. Hug the left knee in, extend the right leg long, open the left hip to the side. Bring the knee through center and take it over to the right. Open the chest, roll onto the right hip. And breathe deeply there. Move back through center. Hug both knees in. Rock a little side to side, front to back. And slowly building momentum, we're just going to come up and tap the toes and then roll back onto our backs. Trying to hold for a moment up on our sit bones. Use the core. Belly to spine. Heart lifting. Keep rocking, coming up onto the sit bones, pausing, and back. This next time we're going to pause and hold with our toes touching the earth. Belly to spine. Lift the heart. And then maybe you can begin to float the shins parallel to the earth. I like to both flex and point my toes. A floint, if you will. Keep pulling belly to spine, lifting the heart. You can keep your hands behind your hamstrings. You might have them behind your hips to help lift the heart a bit more. Or you can float them in front of you, palms facing up. Breathing here, Navasana. We're going to lower down halfway. Certainly support with the hands, or maybe the arms can reach in front of you still. Keep the neck long. Use the core. Pull yourself back up and lower. Keep the belly pulling to spine. If it's hard, that's okay. We are on the journey. We continue to show up, lifting and lowering. One more round. Pause as you lift. Hands down behind the hips, feet down on the earth. Lift the hips towards the sky. Roll the heart open. And lower the hips down. Cross the ankles, and let's come onto hands and knees. Roll the heart forward, cow pose. We're going to hold here for a few rounds of breath. Tailbone sticking up towards the sky, heart reaching through the gates of the arms. Give the elbows a slight bend as they scoop towards the midline, trying to get the eye of the elbow pointing forward. Breathe through the front body. And then on the next exhale, tuck chin to chest, belly pulls up to spine. Tailbone points to the backs of the knees. Cat pose. Keep breathing here as you root the hands to the earth. You continue that rotation of the arms, external rotation, as the elbows scoop towards the midline. And now let's bring some dynamic movement into it. On the inhale, we come through cow pose. On the exhale, we curve through the spine. Keep moving with your breath. And maybe the hips get involved, maybe the ribs get involved. Let the movements be more intuitive here. Checking in with the body, what would feel good, what little crevices are asking for some space. You might even close the eyes to remove some of the distraction of sight. And just trust that your body will let you know where to go. Building that muscle of trust. Come back through tabletop, neutral spine. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, belly pulling up and in. Begin to walk the hands forward 2 or 3 inches. Tuck the toes. Press into thumb and index, scoop elbows. Belly pulls up and in, lift the knees an inch off the mat. They're hovering. We're using our core again. We're going to use our core today. So we're waking it up. And then extend the legs back into plank. Shoulders come over wrists. Elbows keep hugging in. Belly pulls up and in. Just hold full plank for a breath or 2. And then you're welcome to lower the knees to the earth. We like to just check in, see how we're doing. The spine is long. The tailbone is reaching towards the heels as the frontal hip points hug up towards the front ribs. And the front ribs hug down towards the frontal hip points. The crown of the head reaches forward. Give the knees a soft bend and press the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So it's our first down dog. Don't worry so much about alignment yet. Just pedal out the feet. Maybe explore pressing the heart really far back towards the thighs. Just little movements to wake it up. And then we'll start paying attention to the alignment. So we're starting from the hands, we press down through thumb and index, the inner edge of the hand. Work our way out the base knuckles of the circumference of the hand. Press into the fingertips. Give the elbows that slight bend and hug them towards the midline. Give the knees a slight bend as you draw the hips up and back. Get long through the waist. Spiral the inner thighs to the back of the mat. Working the heels towards the earth. Probably they don't go all the way to the earth, especially since we keep that slight bend in the knees. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Forward fold at the back of the mat. Head is heavy. You can nod it front to back, shake it side to side. Hands to shins, belly to spine, heart lifts, a flat back, long spine. Breathe here. Keep pulling front body to back body, sending the heart forward to crown of the head. Breath is smooth and intentional. Feeling that long line of energy from tailbone to crown of the head. Feeling the front ribs hug in. One more inhale. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lift, core engages. Exhale, hands to hips. Keep the engagement of front body to back body as we press into the feet. Come up to standing. Land into Tadasana at the back of the mat. Palms face forward. Front body to back body. Belly to spine. Heart lifting. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Calling back into mind, why did I show up? Inhale. Exhale, lead with the heart as you dive forward over the legs. Feet are either hips distance or big toes are touching. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, walk out, downward facing dog. Down dog, feet are hips distance. Float forward through plank. Breathe here. Knees lifted or lowered. Lower one elbow at a time to forearm plank. Elbows hugging in. So triceps hugging in since the elbows are on the earth. We root down into the forearms. And then we'll lower all the way to the earth. Walk the hands back beside the floating ribs. Press the tops of the feet to the earth. Zip belly to spine, point tailbone to heels. Think forward with crown of the head so you get the spine long, elbows hugging in. And then up. So low cobra, we're here, we're breathing. And even here, front body to back body. The pull of the belly, the transverse abdominis hugging in. Tops of the feet pressed to the earth, legs are engaged. And slowly roll back down to the earth. Inhale, lift, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's start to build some heat here. Inhale, high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Step or hop, feet to hands. Lift the heart on the inhale. As you exhale, fold in, plant into the feet, engage the core to lift you up. Arms reach, hands to heart. Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Good morning. Inhale, float the arms. Exhale, fold in. Heart lifts, inhale. Exhale, dip it down. Plant the hands, step back, plank. Lower through to the earth. Lift for your back bend. And drag the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Keep scooping the elbows. Keep breathing. Get lots of space at the base of the neck. Shoulder blades secure on the back. Inhale, high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, feet to hands. Heart lifts, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in, plant into the feet, sweep the arms. Hands to heart center. One more round, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold in, plant the hands, plank through the vinyasa. Maybe up dog if it's available today. We're staying with cobra. And landing in downward facing dog, breathing here. The gift of the showing up. Sometimes we don't really want to roll out our yoga mats. But there's always something to explore. Even if it's just a physical exploration, there's so much there. Lift the right leg, inhale. Really paying attention to the hip here. All 5 toes on the right foot are pointing towards the earth. You can peek and see if the toes are pointed out to the right, where that's an external rotation, and instead have internal rotation. So all 5 toes point to the earth, the outer right hip rolls down. As you exhale here, hold. On the inhale, float forward to 3-leg plank. Keep pressing the floor away. Keep the hips on the even plane, and now pull knee towards chest, hollow out the belly. Look through to the hands, step the foot forward. Walk it out towards the right. Lower the back knee to the earth and pull the hips back. You can have hands on blocks here, blocks or books or a stool. Toes are pulling back on the right foot. And you're pulling the right hip back. You're trying to pull the femur bone into the socket. And the left hip lines up over the left knee. And try and reach the heart forward. How's the mind? What's going on there? Are you just going through the motions, or can we make it a meditation? Bring the sole of the right foot back to the earth. Walk the hands to the inside of the right foot. Let the hips sink gently towards the earth, stretching the psoas on the left side. You might press into the left shin. Walk the right hand to the outside of the right foot once more. Press into the front heel. Hug the right hip in. Zip belly to spine. And float the arms up and overhead. Lifting the frontal hip points. Hug the outer hips towards one another. And again, front body to back body. Sensing a theme. Shoulders away from the ears. The heart lifts. Maybe the gaze can lift. Press into the right heel and try and drag it back as you root down into the left shin and try and drag it forward. You'll probably feel the stretch really come into the front of the left hip there. Keep lifting those frontal hip points. One more breath in. Exhale, hands to the earth. Tuck the back toes, straighten the back leg. With intention and care, step the right foot to plank or modified plank. Choose a vinyasa or choose to skip it. And choose to not judge either of those choices. Left leg lifts. Flex the foot, breathe here. Notice if you're hanging out in the right hip, lift the right hip actively back. And peek back, notice all 5 toes of the left foot pointing towards the earth. And don't forget about those arms as the elbows scoop in. You get lots of space at the base of the neck. Stay for the next exhale. And on the inhale, we're floating forward through 3-legged plank. Hips are even with one another. You might peek back at them. And on the next exhale, bring the knee towards the chest, round the spine. Look through to the hands. Gently step the left foot. You can encourage it through with the left hand. Walk it out to the left. Lower the right knee down. Uncurl the right toes. And pull the hips back. Hands on blocks or some kind of support to lift the floor. It's really nice. We just want to go to our edge. We don't want to jump over the edge. That's how you get injured. Just come right up to it. Right hip is in line with the right knee. Sternum is reaching forward, trying to get length through the spine. As the hips pull back, the left femur hugs into the socket of the left hip. And we land on the breath. And then rebend. The sole of the left foot comes to the earth. The left hand steps inside the foot. The hips melt towards the earth. And again, you might have hands on a block. Anytime that a prop could support the pose by lifting the floor or lengthening a limb, please take that. Breathe into the front of the leg, the hip flexor, press into the right shin, top of the foot. And then walk the left hand to the outside of the foot, belly to spine, left hip presses to the earth, left heel presses to the earth, hug the left hip in as you begin to lift the torso and float the arms. Anjaneyasana. Notice if the left hip is hiking up and swinging out to the left side. Lengthen through the side waist and hug the hip in. Front body to back body. Say it with me now. The elbows are scooping, getting that external rotation so there's lots of space at the base of the neck. Press into the left heel, try and drag it back. As you press into the right shin, try and drag it forward. Feel that quadricep enliven. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hands to the earth. Tuck the back toes, straighten the legs, step back, plank, or straight to dog. Choose a vinyasa, choose to skip it. Downward facing dog. Land and down dog, breathe. And if ever it feels like the breath is getting away from you, please, please, please take good care of yourself and come into child's pose or a seated meditation. Just stay with the breath wherever you end up. Lift the right leg up and back, bend the knee, open the hip. Keep lifting the left hip up and back. Extend the legs, square the hips, belly to spine. Bring the right knee forward, step it through. Walk it out to the right. Stay high on the back toes. Outer right hip, hug it in. Belly pulling up and in. As we root into the right foot, come up to crescent warrior. So just like Anjaneyasana, our front body pulls the back body, yes. Our outer right hip hugs in. Our right side waist grows long by dropping the hip. And press into the front heel and try and scrub it back as you try and drag the left toes forward. Belly up and in. Bring the hands together, maybe look up. Take them to the heart center. If it's feeling wobbly, walk the right foot more to the right. Keep the outer hips hugging. Keep them in one straight line as you begin to fold forward over the front thigh. Keep lifting from the belly, strengthen the back leg. Breathing here. Maybe the arms can float back or forward. Forward is going to cause more activity in the core. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step forward to the top of the mat. Heart lifts. Fold in. Plant into the feet. Sweep the arms up. Draw the hands to heart center. Come back to the why. Why did you show up? Release the hands. Blink the eyes open. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward over the legs. Heart lifts on the inhale. Plant the hands, step back, plank, vinyasa, or dog. Moving to the left side, left leg lifts, inhale. Bend the knee, open the hip. Lift the right hip up and back. Keep the right side waist long. Extend the left leg. Belly pulls up and in as we roll the left hip down, squaring the hips. Exhale, knee to nose. Curve the spine, look through. Step the foot forward. Maybe work it out to the right, to the left. Press into the front heel. Belly pulls up and in. Begin to lift the torso. Begin to float the hands. Outer hips hug. Frontal hips lift. Front body to back body. Maybe here. You just land on the breath. Yes, it's hard. What else? What's interesting about it? I'm building strength. What else? I'm present with my breath. I am in the present moment. Hands come to touch. Gaze up. Bring hands to heart center. Really root down into that front heel, drag the back toes forward as we fold forward. Really active through the outer left hip. Strong back leg, nice. Maybe the hands float back or forward for a few rounds of breath. Smooth in, smooth out. And then hands to the earth. Step forward to the top of the mat. Heart lifts as you inhale. Fold in, exhale. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Draw the hands to heart center. Sink the hips, Utkatasana, chair pose. Hands to heart center, drop them down onto the hips. Let's do some exploring here. So the thumbs can be at the SI joint, on the back of the pelvis, and the fingertips can be on the front of the hips. So the fingertips pull the frontal hip points up as the thumbs encourage those tailbones or the sit bones towards the earth. Imagine the heels were rooting down and pulling away from one another so the inner thighs can roll down. And then maybe the arms float up, front body to back body. Surprise, surprise. Inhale. Exhale, fold in. Heart lifts, inhale. Plant the hands, step back, choose a vinyasa or skip it. If you do have blocks or a stool or some kind of support, you can move it towards the front of the mat. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step the foot to the hands. So if you've got blocks, they'll be on the highest height at the top of the mat. Outer hip hugs on the right side. Belly pulls up and in, strong back leg. Come into crescent warrior. Hands to heart center. So there are stages. This might be plenty for you today. You stay here. Lean out just like we did a moment ago. Belly keeps pulling up and in. Our core really has to stay engaged here, as does our outer right hip for the support of this pose. This might be plenty for you. You'll stay here. If you are moving towards warrior 3 or supported warrior 3, you will keep hugging the right hip in. You will keep pressing into the right foot as you begin to drag the left leg in to get it light and lifted. Hands can come on blocks or stay at heart center. The lifted left leg is so engaged. When we were in three-legged dog and we were making sure the toes pointed towards the earth, this is why. And when we talk about front body to back body, this is why. Zip the belly button to the spine. Hug the front ribs to the back body. Frontal hip points are lifting. Play here. Lose your balance, come back to it. And then, as you're ready, bend the front knee. Step back. Arrive into crescent warrior. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step back, vinyasa or skip it. You might feel very funky from side to side. Left leg lifts on the inhale. Step the foot through to the hands as you exhale. Press into the front heel. Arrive into crescent warrior. Hands to heart. All right, so we know we've got stages. Stage 1. And also, stage 1 is not better or worse than stage 2, etc. So just keep that in mind. Fold forward over the front leg. Keep hugging that left hip in. Notice if it swung out. Keep the side waist long. Belly to spine. Front ribs to back body. Begin to press more into the left foot. Get that right leg nice and light. The block can be under the hands. Keep lifting the frontal hip points. Keep reaching through that back heel. pointing all 5 toes to the earth. Choose one point of focus. Breathe. Outer hip keeps hugging. You can press into the inseam of the left foot. And then bend into the left knee. Keep hugging the left hip in. Crescent warrior. Hands to the earth. I'd say we're warm step back. Vinyasa or dog. Down dog for 5 rounds of breath or child's pose. Inhale high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. If you're in child's pose, you're welcome to stay there. Come forward to the top of the mat. Heart lifts, inhale. Exhale, fold in. Sink the hips, Utkatasana chair. Up to standing, hands to heart center. Pause. Why did I come to the mat? Breathe. Release the palms. How am I showing up right here, right now? What is the internal monologue, dialogue like? Blink the eyes open. Come back into Utkatasana. We're going to explore here. Hands to heart. From body to back body, belly up and in. Begin to lift. Peeling the left knee towards the chest. Woo-hoo-hoo. Gotta hug that right hip in more. Begin to straighten into the right leg. Reach the left leg back through warrior 3. Then step back into crescent warrior. We're gonna open into warrior 2 here. This should feel really nice. So front heel lines up with either back heel or back arch. Outer left hip rolls forward. Left toes point towards 10 o'clock. Keep hugging the right hip back. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, hands up and over. Step forward to the top of the mat. Heart lifts. Exhale, fold in. Sink the hips, Utkatasana. Press into the feet, come up to standing, hands to heart center, pause. How do I show up to this next round? Release the hands, blink the eyes. Sink the hips, Utkatasana. Belly to spine, frontal hip points lift, hands to heart. Press into the right or the left foot as you peel the right foot off the earth, knee towards chest. Keep lifting from the low belly. Begin to lean forward with the torso as you reach the right leg back through warrior 3. Land back into crescent warrior and open warrior 2. A delicious warrior 2. Strong back leg, right foot rooting to the earth. Strong pull of belly to spine. Front heel is rooting. And like we did before, try and pull the feet towards one another. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, arms up and over. Step back through plank. Vinyasa. Or straight to dog. Walk the hands back to the feet. Forward fold at the back of the mat. Bend the left knee deeply. You can have a hand on a block here. Left hand down on the earth. Take the right hand to right hip. Imagine that right hip lifting up, 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 up as the left knee continues to bend, and you can twist the chest towards the right. Roll the heart open, right ribs roll to the sky. And then maybe the right arm reaches up. Maybe you peek up towards that right thumb. And then follow the hand as you swim it forward. Keep the gaze on the hand. As it comes to the earth, bend the right knee deeply. Straighten the left leg. Left hand to hip, chest turning to the left. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Belly keeps pulling up and in. Strong in the legs. Maybe the left arm floats up, maybe the gaze follows. And then swim the left hand forward, keep the gaze on it, nice and slow. Hands to the earth. Both knees bend deeply, head hangs, release the neck. And as you press into the feet, the action is towards lifting the sit bones to the sky, but try and keep the belly connected to the legs. Nod the head forward and back, shake it side to side. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, walk the hands to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot through to the hands. Lower the back knee down. Again, hand to a block on the inside of the foot, or maybe hands can reach the earth. Taking a moment or two here, you could even walk the right foot further to the right, get more space on the inside of the leg. And then go ahead and bend the left knee, kicking the heel towards the tush. This might be plenty. You might have a strap and hook it around the foot, or you just take the right hand to the knee and begin a twist. Keep kicking heel to tush. Click, clack, little dog. And then maybe you can grab the top of the foot with the right hand. And release. Tuck the left toes, lift the knees, step back, down dog. Left leg lifts. Step the foot to the hands. Lower the back knee down, hands to the inside of the foot. Breathe into the psoas on the right side. And then kick the right heel towards the tush. You can take left hand onto the knee for the twist. Maybe a strap around the right foot. Or maybe the left hand can reach back, open through the shoulder. And then release. Hands to the earth. Tuck the back toes, step back. One final vinyasa if you choose it, or just straight into downward facing dog if you are feeling spent. Knees to the earth, big toes touch, hips sink back, child's pose. And slowly roll up. Bring the soles of the feet together in front of you. So you might sit up on a block here, on a bolster, on some blankets. You might have your hands behind your hips and simply lift the heart. The feet could be farther away from you. It really just depends on flexibility. And flexibility doesn't make you a better or worse yogi. Heart lifts. And maybe you begin to fold forward if that's available. forward causes a lot of rounding in the low back, then I say keep lifting with the heart. As the practice slows down, how do we encourage ourselves in our minds to move more gently inward into awareness? Can I be more with my physical body? Can I acknowledge the thoughts as they come? Can I keep showing up in the way that I have intentionally chosen? Roll up. If you've rolled down, and take the legs wide. Make a big V. Hands can be behind the hips. And again, you might just lift the heart here. This might feel really nice. Toes are flexed, pointing up towards the sky. And the inner thighs gently roll to the earth. And if you're feeling inspired to begin to tip forward, you can walk the hands forward and crawl them out. Maybe have them on a block. Slowly lift if you fold it in. Bring the legs together in front of you. Flex the toes back. A strap is wonderful here, or a towel. Move the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. Also sitting up on something, especially if there is a lot of tightness in the hamstrings, is very nice. Flip the arms up. Wiggle out of the waist, get long, long, long. And then fold from the hips. Hands onto whatever is available. Maybe strap around the feet to try and keep stretching long through the spine. Reaching the sit bones back. And then you reach a point where the body goes, yeah, that's it. I'm not stretching any longer. And you can just roll in. We've used our legs so much today. It's nice to give them this time to stretch and open. Getting really intentional with sending the breath to the places that served us so well through our practice. And slowly roll up. You can windshield wipe the legs from side to side. And scoot hips to heels. You have a block close by, perhaps, lower down onto your back. You can take supported bridge if that is feeling really nice to you today. Otherwise, pressing into the heels, engage the belly, flatten the lumbar curve onto the earth. Keep rooting down into the heels to begin to lift the hips. Trying to keep the glutes more or less relaxed. There's some engagement there, but we want the hamstrings to really be doing the work here instead of the butt clenching and compressing the low back. And you can encourage that by pressing more into the heels and trying to drag them towards the head. You might interlace hands underneath you as you roll the shoulder blades together on the back toward the heart. Breathe into the front body. Notice the mind. And then lower down. Hips to the earth. Walk the feet wide, knock the knees together. Deep breaths into the belly. And then you can let the knees sway from side to side. And then hug the knees towards the chest. Give a little squeeze. Let the knees fall to the right. Scoot the hips over to the left. Come into a twist for a breath or two. And then back through center. Knees to the left, hips to the right. And back through center. Options for this final pose, you might just extend the legs up towards the sky and hold behind the hamstrings. Or maybe happy baby is calling to you today. Wherever you are, you land there gently in the breath, in that seat of awareness, witnessing the physical body, witnessing the mind. We do the physical asana practice so that we can have something really strong to focus our mind, paying attention to the body, the muscles that need to engage. And then we tire that part out when we get to the end. But we've still practiced that mind stuff for an hour. And so now we get it without all of the external push of the muscles, of the shapes. Hug the knees into the chest. Extend the legs out, or set yourself up any shape for Shavasana. Maybe knees are bent and knocked towards one another. Maybe hands on body feels good today, or maybe palms facing up to the sky. Any props that are helpful. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. You let the body land. You let the mind soften. And you find yourself here in Shavasana. Allowing the mind to exist in the state of conscious awareness. Nothing to figure out or plan. And if the mind wanders, you simply notice that it wanders and intentionally shift it back to the present moment. yourself back into the body, back onto the mat, deepening your breath. Reach the arms up and back, stretch long through the body. Gather the knees to the chest, give yourself a squeeze. Make your way into a seat. Roll onto one side or rock forward and back. And as you find yourself seated, eyes can either be gently closed or choose one point of focus. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. And take this moment to acknowledge your practice, the fact that you showed up to your practice this morning. And acknowledge how you would like to move through the rest of the day, the rest of the week. How would you like to show up? What is the ideal? We might not always get it right. We might forget. But having something to remember makes it easier, especially when we want to live from a place of intention. Lift the heart, bow the head. Thank you for practicing today. Shanti. Peace. I hope you have a great rest of your day.